السلام عليكم.
Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second session of strategic direction and planning for this cohort, which has started really exciting with a lot of great ideas and a lot of energy. I hope I'm not starting to lose people, but I can see numbers are adding up within the 5 minutes. This is our second session. I generally review what we do in the previous session and I move on from that. There should be a link shared with you that has all the slides that I am using in every lecture. Now, the video might have different slides from the actual slides that I share. If you look at the slides alone, sometimes I break them into 4, but sometimes we don't finish all the materials in the first one. So in the second one, I copy them over and I add them. So the slides separately may not match the videos, but if you watch the videos, everything I cover will be there. And the slides will have everything when I'm finished, okay? So if there's anything that I'm covering today that you think was all from last time, there's a part last time that we didn't get to do. So basically what we're going to do at first is I'm just going to quickly try to review one of the most important part of what we did last week. And that was the process. Yeah, we're talking about strategic direction as a much higher level than strategic planning. So when we were sharing your goals and what you wanted to achieve from the course, remember everybody was more focused on strategic planning. This course is called strategic direction and planning. So direction is a level higher. Okay, it comes at a much higher level with a lot more of a higher purpose. So the process goes through what we looked at last time, starting with several different tools that we use to analyze the situation, whether we're analyzing our stakeholders, whether we're analyzing external factors like the PESTLE, right? I'll go through them quickly with you later. Porter's 5 forces, which are usually industry related, marketing. So there are several tools that you can use to explore the different aspects of external and internal conditions. And once you've collected your data from all that, it goes into what we call your SWOT, right? So we include all the data that we collect from these separate tools into one matrix that is called the SWOT. Who's going to remind us what the SWOT stands for? What's a SWOT? I've got a few new people today, so anyone
Strength,
remember?
weakness, strength,
Yep.
weakness,
Strength, weakness,
What about
threats,
the opportunities and threats?
opportunities and threats.
Fantastic. Which ones are external? Which part of the SWOT are external factors?
opportunities and threats.
Excellent. Opportunities and threats, and usually your strengths and your weaknesses are within the organization, internal. Okay, and remember what I said about the SWOT, and I'll say it again because we're going to see the image later. So once we've got our SWOT, we've analyzed everything, we look into what we call future products and markets. So even though when we were practicing, you already decided what you wanted your business idea to be, your imaginary business idea, normally the process is to study the market first, to study your own strengths and weaknesses as an organization, and then decide what do you want your future product to be, or your new product. It doesn't have to be a new business. It can be your new product. Okay, and based on the new product, you might be able to set a vision and your strategic direction, and then you can start putting some goals and objectives and take the direction deeper into building your strategy, and then your planning, and then of course you do the detailed planning and you start implementing, you review, and you keep monitoring. Don't ever forget the review and monitoring. So thank you for those who do remember. These were the main tools that we focus on almost every aspect of a business. It doesn't matter what department you work on or you work in, if it's HR, if it's whatever you do, it is these two tools, the SWOT and the PESTLE, are very important, as is the industry rivalry tool. So you really need to study your external factors. What does PEST or PESTLE stand for? Let's start with the PEST. PEST stands for, what's the P? Anyone? The political? You're cutting out whoever was speaking. So
Political, economic,
political,
social.
exactly. P is the political impact. These are all external factors, right? The PEST is all external. Today we call it PESTLE with an L and E added to it. I should add this for you. So it is in the table above, in the structure above, but the diagram here doesn't have it. So the political factors, the economic factors, the social factors, and the technological factors. So what is the L and E, you think?
Legal.
Legal, excellent. And E is the?
You told us the last time
Environmental.
this in you.
Environmental.
Environmental, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's the environmental. So notice how we do these two external tools. We apply these two external tools and we take the data from it. The second one is the industry rivalry, where you have to study your position in the market. It's very, very important to understand your position in the market, right? What are your competitors doing? Where's the market going? Who is doing well? Who's closing down? Who's coming in as new? So all these are external factors. Once you collect these data, you chuck them under O or T. They can be a threat. They can open up an opportunity. And then, of course, within the organization, analyzing what you have inside. Someone can give me examples of your strengths within the organization, what it might be.
Retaining the talented manpower or the competent manpower.
You might have very skilled people. You might have a good team of human resources, but also you could look at other resources, yeah, physical resources, financial resources. So anything to do with resources within the organization. It could be either positive or negative. If it's positive, it's a strength. If it's negative, it's a weakness. Okay, so perfect. So once you put them into this, last time I kind of showed you how we can crisscross. So in order to minimize the threat, what do we need to capitalize on?
The strength.
The strength, excellent. So we use our internal strength to mitigate or minimize the threat. And what do we, for example, if we have a weakness, we can actually try to find an opportunity, right, that might reduce or enhance or minimize the weaknesses in the place. For example, if, for example, you're going into AI, it's a perfect example because everybody's doing this today, and your organization does not have people who are skilled in this area, or you want to move into getting some funding, external funding from large organizations, and nobody knows how to write a funding proposal. So you can use an opportunity outside of bringing in some consultants, some outsourcing, bringing other people to come in and do it. So this is where you try to minimize your weaknesses. So this is when we try to resolve and turn the SWOT into an action plan. We call this the TOES metrics, right? So it goes backwards. So we go from the SWOT, which is the analysis, to the actions that we will take in order to mitigate the threat, in order to take advantage of the opportunities, in order to minimize the weaknesses or to balance the weaknesses. All these steps and actions that we decide to do are part of what we call the TOES metrics, okay? So it's kind of reversing the SWOT. So basically, I'm not going to go through these in detail, but these are some examples of how a table might look like with your TOES metrics. When you put the SWOT into action, right? You might have opportunities. You have opportunity 1, opportunity 2, threat 1, threat 2. So you tabulate all your information. If you have a strength and an opportunity together, that's great, right? Strength and opportunity together is fantastic. So what is something that brings together your strength and your opportunity? So that's your first strategy. That's the first solution. That's your first plan. So do you see how strategy is formulated on the foundation of a SWOT? Does that make sense? So let's say you wrote one of your strengths that someone said was your manpower, okay? You have very skilled people in the organization. And one of the opportunities out there is for, let's say the people you have are skilled in technology, and there's an opportunity in technology. So the strength of technology and the opportunity in technology together is one aspect of your strategy. So you put a strategy for every one of these intersecting. Basically, what action will you take to take advantage of your strength and opportunity, right? Okay, with the weakness and the opportunity, what opportunity is out there that can actually balance my weakness? That's another strategy. So do you see how we build strategies by using the matrix, left and going sideways and going down? Does the matrix make sense? Or is there anyone who's confused by the way this matrix goes? Remember, we look at opportunities and threats. We look at strengths and weaknesses. When we do the toes, we are starting to turn these strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats into action. They start looking like a strategy, right? So if you tabulate them in this format, if it's not making any sense to you, here's another example. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go few of them. I already did a strength and opportunity. So you use your internal strength in order to capitalize on an external opportunity, right? For example, if you have a person or a committee that is good at writing proposals, and there are a lot of opportunities out there in the real world for people to take some money from the government. So what will you do? Will you use the people that you have who know how to write fund proposals? Yes. Okay, so that's an example of how you can use your strength and the opportunity in order to build a particular strategy, right? Okay, weakness and opportunities. These are all, both of them are great, by the way. These two are usually good. Whenever it's an opportunity, it's a great part of our strategy. It's the positive part of our strategy. So you improve your internal weaknesses by using external opportunities. For example, let's stick to the grant writing, the funding. Suppose your agency doesn't have success in this area. You're not very good at writing proposals and getting a fund from the government, right? That's a weakness, right? But there are opportunities out there, and there is still an opportunity out there for you to get a grant. What would you do? The opportunity to get a fund and a grant from the government is there. You don't have people who know how to write one. What do you do? I already kind of answered it earlier. Opportunities there. I have a weakness in this area. Do I just ignore it?
No, for sure, I will take it as opportunity.
You have to
for
take
me.
the opportunity.
How will I do that? What will I do? The opportunity is there. I don't have the skills within my organization for it. The skills inside the organization are not there. What do I do? Two things you can do. There are opportunities and people in the organization do not have the skills. What do we do when people don't have skills? Anyone in HR?
I will replace them.
Oops.
No. I will upskill.
Who is that?
ليش القساوة هذه؟
No, it's so
والله ماني
funny.
عارفة حسيت وقت
Maybe doing
HR
PD for
قد
them
ده.
to
It's
improve them.
okay. It's okay. I love that response. It made me laugh a little bit. At least you're breaking the ice for us. Yeah. No, we're not going to get rid of them. But yes, who is it that
Oh,
said
You can
upskill.
collaborate or
Upskill.
partner with someone.
PD? Someone said PD. Professional development, training, guys.
Yes.
People don't have skills. You train them. Amer, is that
Yeah.
you? Yeah, you train
Yeah,
them.
it's me, Amer. I said
Yeah.
this
Who's the
because
one who
we do
said,
it in our school. We do same.
absolutely
We have-
everybody? I mean, now there's AI and people are not skilled enough. Do we fire all of them?
No, we try and try again, and
Absolutely.
finally, if we can't, we will replace them, but it's never happened in
Of course
our
not. It never
organization.
happens in a workplace.
Because if it's
Never does.
happened, it's on us because we recruit them. So
Right, right, right. That was just an icebreaker for me. I loved that response. It was so spontaneous too, and cute. Okay, so that's the easy way out, actually. But one option is to train them, and another option is, let's say you don't have time to train them. You bring in a consultant. You hire an expert from outside to come and help you write a proposal. You will not miss an opportunity to get a funding. That's a large amount of money. Depends on the kind of business you're in. If you're in a school, you thrive on funding, right? If you're in a nonprofit or a semi-government institution, all this funding is what keeps you going, makes you open up new doors. So these are just some examples of the situations that how you can build strategy out of your SWOT. Okay, so here, for example, you have a strength and you have a threat together. And another example is where you have a weakness and you have a threat. So strength and threat is still good, no? We're still okay. But let's look at this one, weakness and threat. Are they a really good match together? Are they a healthy place to be? Is this a good place for the organization to be, where you have a weakness and a threat?
No.
No. So basically, this is the most defensive position on the TOES matrix. It's where the company is no more in attack mode, it's in defense mode. It's trying to survive. The strategies that you create here, you will want to avoid the threats and minimize the weaknesses, okay? So you need to think of strategies. It's most often used when the organization is in a really bad position. I think this happens when the organization's really lost inside and outside, right? For example, an agency isn't as efficient as stakeholders expect. Let's say you have a business and you have stakeholders who have put money in it, okay? And you are not doing or you are not delivering for the stakeholders. They're not getting what they want. Maybe you're not getting them any profit, and you are in the minus. And there is also the threat of losing your funding, right? So first of all, you are not efficient, you are not delivering, you are not productive, you're not making money inside, and there is the threat from outside of not getting any more fund. So in this case, it might make sense. Maybe, what would you do? I'm going to let you think. What do you think normally? You can think of what normally happens when companies are like that. They're losing money and they're not succeeding. Two things usually will happen. We can take the first option that, similar to the one of firing people, you can close down the business, which is the extreme and never happens, or it does happen actually, but maybe not the first step into. The first strategy we take, sometimes in these cases, what we do is we try to merge companies. A lot of companies merge when they are in this kind of situation. They collaborate. Someone said collaborate before, right? But that was about the skilled people in the company. In this case, actually, collaboration is where it works, right? You can go and partner with another company that might need what you have, but can do a better job with it, or can balance what you don't have, or where you're not really performing. Maybe they have more resources, so you can leverage their resources, and then you can keep your funding. So do you see how we can use the SWOT in order to balance, in order to come up with strategies? Is this clear to everybody? Yeah? Yes, no?
Yes.
Maybe? Oh, great. We're going to move to the second module now, which is the organizational behavior. Organizational behavior, anyone? When I say organizational behavior, what do you think of? The word behavior. What could you possibly think of?
is
It's
this
like how-
behavior inside company or
Yes,
outside
inside,
or
inside. Organizational behavior, yeah.
yeah?
This is where this is where culture, corporate culture comes in. Every organization, your country, your nation has a culture.
Yes.
Your home has a culture. Your school has a culture. One school and another school can have a different culture. Inside the university or the school, your teachers can have their own culture, your students can have their own culture. So there's cultures and there's a culture of a school and there's subcultures within. This is using the example of a school. You can do the same at home. You can do the same with an organization, no matter how big or small. When it's a big company, you have many, many, many small subcultures within it. Small companies usually have more of a naturally evolving culture. So we're going to look at how organizational culture, behavior comes through the culture of the organization. Actually, how is it connected to a strategic direction? When you plan the strategic direction, this is where you need to really think about the culture that you want in your organization. And this leads to the corporate structure. How do you structure the organization? Hierarchical, flat, whichever way you structure the organization, hierarchy or levels, is how the culture will build. One aspect is that. Again, we're also going to look at, when we talk about culture, organizational behavior and culture, we're going to look about how we can promote and reinforce effective strategic management. And then we're going to look at the role of leadership in strategic direction and setting. We mentioned leadership last time. Leadership and strategic direction setting, especially direction setting, is always, they go hand in hand. You cannot be in a role where you are planning or setting a strategic direction and not be a leader. It's usually, remember what I said, strategic direction setting happens at a very, very, very high, the highest level of the organization. So there's definitely got to be some leadership skills involved. Okay. So if we look at some of these, I'm going to let you read so that I'm not just talking before I put you into a Zoom room again. So take a quick read of this. These things that are in my face all the time, sorry. So basically, formal design elements and informal design elements. When we look at the organization, remember when I said the culture of the organization is, you can sometimes see the culture through the design and the structure, right? Think back, while I'm explaining this, I would like you to kind of reflect on your own organization. Where do you think your organization kind of sits? The structure of your organization. Is it a formal design? Does it have the formal design elements? Most organizations have both the formal and informal, by the way. But generally, they try to make you see the formal only. So your formal one is the one that comes and strict and everybody knows the strategy, the structure, who's the boss, who's at the top, who's below, processes and procedures, right? These are all formal. You don't mess around with them. They're there and they have to be implemented. Particularly if you work in a government entity, the programs, the initiatives, the performance goals, etc., etc. So your formalization are the rules, the policies, the procedures that usually control people's behaviors, what you can and cannot do at work, right? Now, the informal side of the structure and the design, it's a little bit hidden sometimes. Shared values, if people share the same values, and I don't know if you notice, a lot of the times in the same company, some people just create their own little circle, right? They just flock to each other. They share something, whether it's shared values, shared visions, shared. It's at the bottom of it is the shared values. Do you remember when we started, when I asked you to make a list of your values in the group, in the team, and then I said, try to come up with a company idea, or sorry, your company values, what you stand for, based on the common values of the team members? That was the point. The point is to, when you decide on what your common values are, it doesn't matter where the differences are, right? So if any one of you, for example, ever wants to partner with somebody to set up your own business, or sometimes even the stakeholders that come and give you a funding, you need to find a way where they share your values, right? Because and I'm not saying that you have to share the skills. Opposite skills are better, but you need to share values, because at some point down the line, when the business grows and decisions have to be made, the shared values might, if they're not shared, there's nothing shared, you will have nothing to come back to hold you as partners together. That's why you notice some people break up partnerships and go on their own, etc. Usually the shared values keep people together. Informal networks, like I said, people start creating their own little cliques, we call them. You know, they hang out together. Sometimes they're people from the same nationality, they just flock into each other. Sometimes they're from the same part of the world. Sometimes, and just give you an example, maybe it's a bit different from what you experience here. For example, in Australia, for me, if I go into an organization, of course I get along with everybody, right? Australians and everybody. I make friends with everyone. But somehow, and of course, in my organization, maybe there's one Lebanese and there are Lebanese Australian, and everybody is Asian, European. And for some reason, the people who are non-Australian, because nobody has another person from their part of the world. So those who are non-Australian, anybody from Europe, from Asia, from the Middle East, somehow, because we don't have other Middle Easterners and other, they don't have another European, we create a clique. But if there were a few other Lebanese, maybe, I'm just giving you an example, maybe naturally all the Lebanese will be together, all the Europeans will be together. And when I say European, Europe is different from Australia, right? They're white people, but they're different cultures. So again, I'm just trying to give you the example because I see it. It's this natural, informal way that people form their culture. Communities, you can even create a community based on what you enjoy, what you like doing. There's a lot of pride also, and these are all informal. They're not applied to everybody. Everyone has their own, right? So informal design is not visible, guys, right? The formal is very visible. The informal is not visible. So if we think about organizational design, organizational culture, these three things have a strong impact: technological impact, environmental impact, and strategic impact. These things, the strategy, the environment, and the technology, can have an effect on the organizational design and on the culture of your organization. I'm going to give you a few minutes to think. And if anyone is ready to share, how do you think, let's start with technology. How do you think technology can affect the organizational design or the culture of the organization? I think this is the easiest one, but let's see what you have to say. Anyone? What kind of tech, let me put the question in a different way. Think of your company. What kind of technological culture do you have? What do you use? What forms of technology are the ones that most people use? Do people walk to each other to talk when they need something? Or do they use email? Do they use WhatsApp? Do they use text messages? Do they use shared SharePoint? What is the culture? What's your tech culture? How much does technology impact the culture of your organization? Does anyone, please
Give
go
an
ahead.
example. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I can give an example. In our company, the
please.
stress using Microsoft Teams,
There you go.
but Teams internally, like they are using WhatsApp. Even company does not support it, but they
Okay.
find it easier. So
Yeah,
this is
that's the
kind of
subculture. That's the
this is the
subculture of the
internal. Yeah.
organization. Absolutely. That's the subculture. So maybe to do something externally, you would use Teams, but yes, people use the WhatsApp because that's the formal is the Teams, and the informal is the WhatsApp.
Correct. So people
technology,
still use
yeah,
their own what they find convenience. Even the
absolutely.
company rules does not allow it or does not follow.
Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. In this case, technology can affect the culture. And also, if you compare the culture where people would walk up to each other and talk to each other rather than just write an email or text message. That's also an impact. That also changes the dynamics of a culture, right? And I think maybe when it's bigger, when the organization is huge, right? And big offices are very far away from each other, that culture is going to be affected more by technology, right? If it's a small company, a startup, there's only 3 or 4 people, you're in the same space, you'll be talking to each other, right? You wouldn't be sending each other messages. So again, technology in that sense can impact, and that also changes the culture completely. People are more interpersonal, others are more tech savvy. Yeah, someone want to say something? Was it Ali?
Yeah, so what about the level of skills that people have within the company? Does that affect the culture as well?
Of course. So if you rely too much on technology, that's definitely, if the workplace relies a lot on technology, that is also it's definitely changing the culture of the organization. But think of yours. Why did you ask that question is probably what I should ask you. Like, what made you think of if people are very skilled at technology?
Well, I tend to face this issue in particular because the way our company is heading towards is more of a tech savvy, more relying
Yeah,
on SOPs and
yeah,
formal communication. But some people who are good at what they do, but not particularly good at technological communication, they kind of
mhm.
pull you back a bit.
Okay. So, but see, this is where the culture, again, company culture, and remember what we were saying. So the technology is going to impact technology, company culture a lot, especially today. So you're really tapping into something very important. I mean, this whole thing about people using AI, even, right? If someone is not using it at all, that person is slowed down already, right? And so the rest of the company, again, it depends. You either jump on the bandwagon and you follow, or you at some point you'll be left behind. So we go back to how organizations, if they want to change their culture, what do they do? So this is where the organizational culture and what we just said about new technology is going to be, and I think it's one of the most powerful forces that can change everything in an organization, not only your design, not only the culture, but you've tapped into something very important. But would you just say, oh, they're slowing everybody down? And actually, you know what this can do also? At some point, if you know how you said it holds people behind, it keeps us behind lagging. At some point, if this continues, if the gap between those who are very good and those who are not keeps expanding, the gap gets bigger, what kind of culture do you think you're going to have at work? That's a very good example you gave. What happens to the culture? Maybe before that, you were all united, you were a team, you work together, you're happy. When this starts happening, the more the gap between people's skills, the more the gap in the culture, the more the conflicts, the more the what we call like a lack of harmony, a resentment, and then it becomes the you versus us, the tech savvy, and you know what I mean? So it creates a whole lot of conflicts that people, whoever's in a leadership role, will have to struggle with. So again, maintaining the culture that the company wants is not just up to the staff or the employee to jump on board. Employers have to play a role to help this person who is still not jumping on board. There are so many reasons why people are not jumping on board. Apart
So
from,
training
okay,
is key, Yani.
I think training is key for, especially with technology, you know, because people are not, it's not that easy. It may be easy for some people. It's not easy for everyone. And ironically, when you say that, even with young people, by the way, people who have grown up in this tech savvy environment with social media, and don't be fooled, even young people are not necessarily tech savvy, right? They're good with social media, they're good with using what they use, but they may not actually be tech literate. When I say tech literate, I mean using software, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, when they come and they're young and you think, oh, they'll be very good with technology, and you realize there's so much they can't do. And you're surprised because they were born with technology. And that shows you that if people are not really using these tools and you're not training them to use the tools, managing projects, for example, if you use Slack or Trello or whatever programs you use at work to manage projects, big projects where different people are on different sites and locations, all that, you need to train people to use them.
Doctor, can I add one point also?
Yes,
It's not
yes.
only the training enough. They should also work on the changing the mindset of each person. Because
That's
even if he will do training and his mindset is not adjusted, he won't learn and he won't apply.
That's true. I mean, when we say training, first of all, before you train anyone to do anything, that person needs to want to be trained. But if your job is on the line, really, and you're not going to change your mindset, do you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't do it. You work on mindset at the same time, but a lot of the times when I know how to do something, I can take the first step to change my mindset. I think it's a two-way thing. Knowing how to do, having the skills and the mindset together. Yes, thank you for putting that in. But that, again, we go back to culture, how you set up the culture. For me, for example, Ali said something, you know, they hold people back. For me, even the mindset of the person who wants to run needs to be worked on, if that makes sense, right? It may not necessarily be the mindset of the person who is not moving on with technology, but also the mindset of the person who wants to move faster with technology. If you don't have the patience to either help this other person, encourage this other person to work like you do, share your skills and stuff like that, and you also have the mindset, oh, they're holding me back, that in itself is already creating, like I said, that push and pull thing. And then the other person is not going to come on board, if that makes sense, right? Think of yourself at home when you were young or even now. How do we feel when someone in our own personal life, if we don't know or we don't want to do something and they see us in a negative light? So again, the language we use with people like that has to be different. How we support people like that, not only the company's support, but how I, as someone who is more tech savvy or more skilled at a certain thing, it doesn't have to be technology, anything. If I don't help others to meet me, they're never going to come along. It's a very challenging process, and we'll get to that. And it's really a leadership skill in a way. I don't want to spend too much time on technology. Before technology and AI zoomed into our work world today, environment was also starting to become a very powerful tool or powerful factor in an organizational culture. So what do we mean by the environment? It could be external environment, could be internal environment. What kinds of environment do you think, or what aspect of environment might influence company culture, you think?
Doctor, I can give example. I think it's valid, this Maria. I will talk about Diva. They stopped maybe now more than 5 years. The copies paperless. We are paperless since 5 years. So this will support the culture of the sustainability.
Excellent. Excellent. If you train your staff to, you're changing the environment, you're changing the culture, right? That's one thing. We can also talk about environment in a different way, not necessarily the environment as green environment, but also the work environment, right? So it could be both. But yes, thank you very much. If you want to promote sustainability, you have to start creating a culture where people don't print. So I mean, I go to these ministries here to do some consulting with them. I am in awe at how much people print. I train, I'm doing 2 or 3 training courses for some government entities, and I send my slides like you see them now. Every single participant comes in with a printed version of every session. And again, okay, again, this is culture, this is mindset, right? This is also people's habits. A lot of people, and I'm not against it sometimes, a lot of people need to write and look at me like I'm training you, but I need a pen and paper in front of me. But I don't print things that I read. Okay. I just need a pen and paper next to me for my thoughts to be structured. Fair enough. You can't, but some people with time, if with practice, they can even just start taking notes by typing. Nowadays, you have the voice projection. You can just have someone transcribe. But for me, for example, if I have a machine transcribing what the lecturer is saying, it's not the same as me writing it so I understand it. There's a cognitive, there's a mental justification for this, guys, right? When people write. But don't exceed this printing thing. Like you start by saying, let's not print, blah, blah, blah. Slowly, we go paperless, right? So again, it's a culture and it's a slow process. You can't just come one day and say, here, we're taking away all the printers. It doesn't work like that. You might need to put a cap for them. Every person is allowed this many number of papers for example, right? And slowly you take it away. So it's all same with technology. It's not just about training, but it's also about empowering people to use it. Let's move to the third bit. How does strategy influence the culture?
Professor, before you go ahead,
ahead.
can I say something?
Sure.
I've heard of work environment for years, many times. I still have no idea what that means. What does the work environment mean?
Work environment is everything around you in your work environment, from the chair that you sit on to the happy people around you and positive and supportive, to the manager who stands over your neck 24/7, to making mistakes and knowing that if I made a mistake, it's okay, I will learn, and somebody will come and say, that's all right, what did you learn from it? This is me now painting the picture of the healthy one, but there's also the negative one. This is work environment. Everything around you, your environment, it's physical, it's mental, and again, we all know now what mental health and workplace mental health is a huge thing. Well-being. There are organizations now that have like their well-being, and I'm not with these people who just have a company and the company has a well-being department. To me, having it is one thing, exercising it is another, right? But where you talk to people around the organization and you feel that they're comfortable, they're relaxed, there's room for mistakes, there's room for growth. Again, I sit on a chair for 8 hours and it's a chair that's not ergonomics and doesn't, I don't feel healthy, it hurts my back. Little things like that, how your manager talks to you, how people talk to each other, how often do we get together and create that spirit of togetherness, the team bonding. It's all part of work environment.
So the vibe?
Everything. Vibe is one thing and everything else is another. Vibe is just an energy around you, but having the chair, having the right table, having the comfort, having a problem, being able to go and talk to someone who will support you. Like I said, someone is toxic, I should be able to get support. I have a boss who is, unfair. So all this is really a healthy work environment, but there's also the unhealthy work environment. And if we go back to corporate culture, what's another thing that that companies mostly do in order to promote a positive work environment? What do you guys do? Tell me. It's all part of corporate culture, by the way. Does any one of you work in a company that does things that, I give so many examples of what could contribute to the work environment positively and negatively. What does your organization do to even mitigate one or to promote one of these?
We have a policy that bans micromanaging.
Excellent. I love that. Does it work though? Do people follow it?
Oh yeah, I'm the one who's supervising that, so I kill
Excellent.
people who do that.
Excellent. Excellent. So that's one thing. You empower people. That's a healthy work environment. That's one way to keep it healthy. What else? What else do you guys do?
In Diva, for example, to promote the culture of happiness among staff, we have something called Tijuri Saade. That means the manager is eligible to give his staff many gifts. Yani one of many gifts. For example, 1 day off, working from home, 2 hours, short leave,
Brilliant.
voucher, like this.
Brilliant. That's work environment. Whoever is wondering what is a healthy work environment, that's one. So a work environment it doesn't always have everything, but it has something. That's the environment that makes you want to wake up in the morning, say, I want to be in the office. I saw this, we have a training program. I don't mention government entities, but again, I'll just say government entity. And it's huge. And in fact, it's related to health. So, and they have a well-being department, right? And when I was interviewing participants for a training program in HR, I was shocked at this young lady who walked in, the body language, the negative vibe, you could see depression, but I'm an external person, right? So you could see she's unhappy. But when she first walked in, I was like, she even gave me her back. I'm interviewing this person, and the body language, the way she was sitting, literally as if I don't want to talk to you kind of thing, right? But I know it has nothing to do with me because I don't even know her. I don't even work with them, right? So, but you notice I saw her twice during the training outside the organization in a nice, fancy 5-star hotel. They're doing training, and I've seen her twice now already, and another person. Of course, she expressed to me what was making her unhappy at work, because during the interview, I asked questions. And when you find out that someone's been doing the same mechanical job for 6 years, how does that make a human being happy? How is this a healthy environment? So you see how environment can vary? Like if someone has been doing the same thing for 6 years, do you think they would feel that they're in a good environment and a healthy environment? Now she's in training, right? And her energy, wanting to learn, wanting to do something different, spending time after the classes, doing the assignments and the tasks that we're giving them. I was shocked, to be honest, because during the interview, I was compassionate, of course, but when she walked out, I thought to myself, my goodness, this was bad, right? And honestly, I was shocked when I saw this person. In fact, the second time was yesterday. And I just couldn't help but make a comment and say, oh my God, look at you. This is the second time I see you and you're so happy. She said, yes, because I'm outside the organization and I'm learning and I'm doing something that's exciting. So it's not only about giving people days off. Sometimes it's about even this routine job that they're doing can make the work environment depressing. So these are all different aspects. We can talk about them forever. I mean, you all have these experiences one way or another, or you hear your friends talk about them. All these little things come together to create what we call a work environment. I don't know if I've answered the question, but I've tried my best. Let me move into strategy. Let's think now about, so we've talked about technology and its impact on culture, environment, strategy. How does strategy impact an organizational design or structure, let's say? I will try to bring it back to someone saying we have a policy that bans micromanaging. It's not exactly that, but it's kind of related. When we put our strategy together, in strategy, we usually have, does anyone have an answer for this?
Doctor, I have one example.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's directly related. For example, when I have a strategy saying that we have by 2050, for example, to have a net zero carbon emission. So this INTA strategy cascaded to us as a culture. That means we should understand what is it and ensure that it's cascaded properly to us in order to participate to achieve it.
Absolutely. For me, your keyword and the most important keyword you said, you started with 2050, which is a vision, and that's setting strategic direction. And then you use the word cascading. When you cascade, you take something from the top all the way down, and that's how you create the culture you want. That's how you create in your strategy, you could embed your culture. That's why I was saying, when you set the strategic direction, whoever is at the top and in charge defines the culture of this organization, even while it is growing and becoming bigger. That strategic direction, the way people hire should match the vision and the strategy and the approach that this or the values that this leadership wants. So this perfect example you just gave us will easily lead us into the role of leadership in this, right? So when we talk about strategy, we're actually talking about the direction of the company, but also the role of leadership. So I'm not going to talk too much about this. What I've tried to do is everything we've done with these three factors is about organizational culture. But I just want to mention the terminology, organic cultures. Remember when I said when the organization is big, it's very formal, it's usually a corporate culture, right? An organic culture is a culture where the culture is not decided upon from the top down. It's usually small. Startups usually are organic because you're 2 to 3 people, and then you start picking people that are more like you, or they complement your skills, but you build like a small network, and the company culture is not predetermined from the strategy. It evolves and builds itself through time. That's what we call an organic culture. Corporate culture, on the other hand, is what example you've just said, how you set it from the direction from the top and how it passes on, and you recruit accordingly. So you have a set corporate culture, and notice sometimes you apply for jobs, and and they tell you have all the skills, by the way, you fit perfectly on the job description, and then they tell you, oh, we chose someone who was more of a fit. When they say the word fit, that means they want you to fit into their culture, whatever that culture is, right? They have their culture. They know what their culture is. So brainstorm very quickly. What are elements of a strong corporate culture? What do you think? I asked you that question before, and you mentioned a few examples. Would anybody like to add something in particular that you think, a quality or a characteristic that you think will create a strong corporate culture, other than what we've just talked about? This whole no micromanaging, the treats of day off, the gifts. Anyone else has something at your organization that you do that is kind of a supportive of strong corporate culture?
What would you suggest, Professor?
I did not hear that.
I asked, what would you suggest? Something that would.
I want to think of what you guys do. What do you do? What do people do at the end of every year or around? I'm sure it happens. It's just you're not thinking of it.
There's recognition and reward.
Recognition and reward. I was expecting that before, but I didn't get it. Thank you. Sometimes, these are things you experience every day, but you really don't have the terminology. So this is part of corporate culture, guys. Like, those retreats, some big companies, huge corporate companies, they take you on a retreat where you go and do team building activities, or it's just for fun, right? And if you think of those big 5 companies like EY and PwC and all that, they do a lot of this, right? So this is part of their own corporate culture, right? Of course, there's other things that people may not like, but this is how they build their corporate culture. So first of all, the widely shared philosophy. We share the same philosophy. People kind of, I don't know if you notice it, a lot of my cousins work in these organizations. They're all the same. They think the same. They like the same things. They, the fancy, I'm wearing this fancy watch. I'm driving this fancy car. And that's like, oh, and they only want like there's a specific direction that these people who work at these companies share. There's something about them that you can spot them from a distance. And here I'm talking, let's say, I shouldn't be calling names, but I'm just giving examples of how these big 5 companies literally rehire a similar type of people. Because again, it's about their own culture, a concern for individuals. They care about people. Remember, someone said, what does work environment mean? I care. If someone has an issue, has a problem, I'll go there and I'll find out. Recognition of heroes. Someone said it already, thank God. Belief in rituals and ceremonies, like, for example, whenever we hit a milestone, we celebrate something, whatever. A well understood sense of informal rules and formal, right? So the informal and formal is very well understood. We know, even if it's something not in the rule book, we know what we can and cannot do, even if it's not mentioned, if you get what I mean, right? Like, I might go to work here in the Gulf, anywhere in Dubai and Doha and wherever else, and no one has told me, you have to be covered up, whatever, fully. But I might be more conscious of doing that simply because it's a well understood. In some places, I feel I can be a little bit more comfortable with what I wear. In other places, no. So again, right? So you read between those cultures too. And a belief that what employees do is important. And this is another thing. If people feel that, remember the girl with the data entry, the same job for 6 years, this person must 100% feel it. I'm not getting the feeling that I am important to this organization, that I can do something more than just entering data, for example, right? So these are all things that give a strong corporate culture. And like I said, corporate culture is related to leadership. What I wanted you to do, and I don't want you to be looking at my screen, I want you to try to think of what leadership skills. I'm going to go in the chat if you want, but you can also speak. You can put something in the chat. Don't look at my slide. I should have had a question here instead of the answers, but this was from last week. That's why I'm trying to rush. What are some, don't try not to read it. What are some leadership skills that you think are important when we build strategy? These are effective leadership skills right in front of you. But can you choose any one of these and connect it for me and think and tell me how one of these can actually be very important for strategy building? Remember, we could be leaders, we could have leadership skills, but we don't necessarily have to be able to build the strategic direction. But think of what particular skills do you think might actually help with building a strategic direction? What do I need as a leader?
Emotional maturity.
Okay. Why
Which
is
is
that?
emotional intelligence.
Okay. Emotional maturity, that's personality. What in
Yeah.
terms of abilities? What kind of skills? You don't have to stick to what's in the slide. You can go
Okay.
beyond. Yeah, think of strategy now. These are just traits for effective leadership.
Decision making.
Decision making. Thank you. What else?
Important.
Before decision making, I'm setting a strategic direction. What do I need to have?
A vision.
Vision. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be someone who can have a vision, visionary. Not everybody is a visionary, guys. Not everybody's not everybody can see that future image. Someone's writing in the chat. What else? Vision, decision-making skills.
A good communicator.
An excellent communicator, yes, because you need to communicate your strategy. Listener, again, I like that. A lot of the times we forget the importance of listening, guys. Being a good listener. I don't know if you notice, people at the top, successful people right at the top, we're talking CEOs here, they usually are very quiet. Thanks for that. Another one, advisor. They don't talk a lot, right? They sit there, they listen to everybody, and then they just hammer one message, one statement, and it grabs your attention, right? That is how these people work. They listen to everybody, they take what everybody's saying, and they rephrase it with higher cognitive levels. And that is why they are the ones who usually put strategic direction. Again, what else do you think we need? Do problem solver? Do they need to have planning skills? They have an eye for detail, do you think? Critical thinking? Will they need critical thinking?
Yes,
Yeah,
they do. They do.
absolutely. Because you're going to be putting a direction as an advisor. Yes, they need to be a motivation, collaboration. Yes, critical thinking is very important. They have to have higher cognitive skills. They need to be influential also, right? Persuasive. They have to convince you with what they're doing. And of course, they need to have friendly, okay. All leaders need to be friendly, really. Okay. But sometimes when we say friendly, we also want them to be responsible. They take ownership of their mistakes too, right? And they are committed. There's commitment. They are accountable. If anyone understands what I mean by accountable, accountability is when you do something. If your top person cannot take responsibility for actions, then who is going to do that, right? So there's lots of skills we could look at. I just wanted to tap into that quickly so that we can move on. We are still finishing what I had on day one slides. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakout room activity. Let me close this because we're going to go back to your projects. All right. You've mentioned everything really before I could come to this slide. Vision, right? Vision is very important. Strategic leadership requires being able to develop a vision that is compelling. When I say compelling, not any vision, but a vision that really compels, makes people want to listen to you. They want to come with you on this journey, right? And then they have the ability to develop the strategy to achieve this vision. So it's not enough to have the vision, right? If you don't have the strategy for it. And it's not enough to have a strategy if you don't have a vision. So it's a combination. Top leaders usually understand vision. They know how to organize people and resources together in order to achieve them. So today, leaders can be at any level of the organization, guys. Yeah, but every one of you, no matter how low in the organization you are, you should understand the vision of the organization, which is why we started last time when I said, put your values together and think of an idea, a message that you would want to send to your clients, right? What is the message you want to send? It was the first level of developing a vision. So excellence in organizational performance is also something that leaders choose consciously. When we say consciously, they deliberately choose excellence and organizational performance. They want excellence. If you notice, 80% of vision statements usually talk about excellence in I don't know what, the number one, right? Because remember what we said about vision. It's so far-fetched. It's so unreal. I may never achieve it, but then my mission will help me achieve it, right? So it has to be really big picture. Top leaders know their organization's environment. Again, someone was kind of talking about environment. If you don't understand the organizational environment and you're trying to set all these planning and strategies for them, you're working towards the one direction and your team is going somewhere else. So understanding your environment, the culture that you work in is important for top leaders when they are setting strategies. They have a 5 or 10-year vision for the organization, and they set plans that are achievable for these visions. Again, Your plans cannot be unrealistic. The vision is unrealistic, right? Not unrealistic, but nobody's going to be a number one. What does it mean, number one, right? You could be a number one today, but you may not be tomorrow. And what's the definition of excellence? You're never really at the peak or the highest level of excellence. You can always be even more excellent than excellent. So that's why people use them to be the number one, the leading in the industry, the leading hospital, the leading bank, the a model of excellence in finance. I'm just trying to, because most vision statements sound like that, right? But your plans to achieve this vision need to be achievable. They cannot be up in the air. And in this world that we live in today, where there's like, it's complex, everything is complex, it's constantly changing. It's not that easy to anticipate the future, right? I mean, you can't even tell what tomorrow brings these days. Things happen so quickly. Change happens so fast that, being able to be a visionary and anticipate what the future holds and what future opportunities are there and where your company's position can be in the future, you really need a very special set of skills and leadership skills. You can watch this video in your own time, but I like this quote by Nelson Mandela. Action without vision is passing time. If I act and I don't have a purpose, I do things every day, but for no purpose, right? And this again brings us back to that example of the young lady who was just doing the same thing for 6 years. Purpose was gone. She had no purpose, but she was doing action. That was just passing time. Vision without action, again, if I act and I don't have a purpose, it's passing time. If I have a purpose and I do nothing about it, what is it? I'm daydreaming. You know how when you talk about things all the time, oh, I'm going to do this one day, and your friends tell you, oh, you're such a dreamer. Why do they say that? Because you haven't even started doing it, right? Once you do it, you start doing it. So you need to have a vision and act. Together, you change the world. You need both in order to make the change you want in this world. So how is strategic leadership and strategic direction and leadership involved? Again, direction is always at the top. Leadership is very important. Strategic leadership is the ability to influence other people. We talked about this. You cannot be someone who sets a strategic direction for your organization if you don't have the ability to influence others. There are many characteristics that usually make you influential. What are some of the things that you think, where when you deal with someone who is at a higher level, what are some characteristics that you think make these people influential? What do they do? What kind of behaviors make you feel like, oh, I want to jump on board? They can really change my mind about things. Because you need to influence people voluntarily. Like they have to choose. They really want to. Notice I've been saying, how do you have a vision and you have an idea that people want to come with you to achieve. You're not forcing them, but they want to be with you. I'm sure you
Yeah.
have friends like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to maybe make people believe in your vision
How do
and
you
and accept authority because they know you're going somewhere with this. You
Yeah.
have a very clear objective.
Absolutely, you're clear.
Yeah.
Clarity is one of them. You know what you're doing. And
Yeah.
again, the gift of the gap, guys, people have, when we say leaders, it's not necessarily all leaders, you don't have to, but being able to articulate how language, the use of powerful language, articulation. Some people have great ideas, by the way. They don't know how to share them in a way that can touch people, right? So we call this the gift of the gab. Like they're usually charismatic, they're good public speakers. They know how to take a simple idea and make it sound grand. So communication skills, someone said that before, is powerful. It is really what makes you influential. convincing, argumentative, logical thinking. If you're going to convince me and persuade me naturally, then you got to have, like you said, clear objectives, but also very convincing or organized way of thinking, not a scatterbrain who jumps from one side to the other to the other. So there are many different leadership approaches, guys, that usually impact the vision and the direction and the growth and the future potential and success of the organization. Strategic leadership gives people the technique that helps them, that helps the organization focus, right? What am I deciding on? What is the purpose? And what are the best practices? So that
Doctor,
we can remain competitive and relevant. Yes, Ali.
like
Tell me.
when they say there is a manager and there is a leader.
خليني ارقد يا اخي ليش يا اخي برقد من وقت يا اخي
Oh, oh, oh. Reis?
الو
Reis, are you there? That was nice. I love when people wake us up from this serious tone that we do. It's nice to have a bit of a laugh. Okay. Sorry, Ali, go ahead. Yes, it's the difference between a manager and a
Manager and
leader.
a leader.
Absolutely. You can manage, but you don't necessarily have to be a good leader. And vice versa. A leader may not actually
Yes.
have these nitty-gritty, detailed management skills. That's why they are in that position they're in, right? So
True.
what's important, though, is to see how strategic leadership, so a leader who works on strategic direction and planning, is already giving you the strategies and the techniques that help you focus. Remember what we said last time, the reason we need strategic direction and strategy is so that when people disagree with each other, it's not personal, right? You want to solve this disagreement about work, you just go back. What's our direction? What is the company? What is the vision? Let's go back to this. So it gives you a direction. It helps people hone in, focus, bring all their efforts together towards a purpose, whatever the purpose is, and best practice. Because you have two objectives for any organization. You want to stay competitive and you want to be relevant, right? If you're in old times, you're not relevant. If you're still producing what you produced 20, 30 years ago, people are not interested in it anymore. And if there's other people doing what you do cheaper, again, so your relevance and your competitiveness are very important. And that's what strategic leadership does. So these are the different kinds of strategic leaders we have. The aspirational leadership, there's many different styles, guys. This is not a leadership course. I'm sure you've either done one already or it's coming up. I know that there is on this program a leadership course. There's the operational tactical style, there's the human resource style, there's the financial engineering style, and there is no one style in one person only. People can have several styles in their strategic and their leadership styles in order for them to be effective in strategic directions, right? And they use a different hat every time under different situations. So no one is just one type. Maybe we have one type that is the most common in us, but there are other types that may not come naturally to us, but we are adaptive. We can become those when we need them, right? I might be someone who is more of the aspirational visionary. I see things in advance, right? But that doesn't mean that I cannot, once I've put the vision there, I can still analyze things. Maybe not as much as someone who is purely analytical. I can still work on the financial stuff, but it may not be my own 24/7 way of thinking, right? Public relations. All these together, all these styles come together in different percentages to create this strategic leader. So you can be one or many of these. And these are just things that we were talking about organizational culture theory. We talked about culture. And I just wanted to show you this quick diagram, which I'm not going to go into details. I told you how some things are visible and some things are invisible. So at the bottom of an organization is your underlying assumptions. What people individually have that nobody sees is right at the bottom. What's in the middle is your espoused beliefs and values that you probably share. And then artifacts are how you present all this to the rest of the world, what people really see. So you've got your visible organizational structure, your procedures, your process. You've got your goals, your philosophy, which is your values, your norms, and your beliefs. And your underlying assumptions are usually your thoughts, your feelings. They're very invisible. Nobody knows them, right? We don't always walk around telling people what we think at work. Well, maybe you do, but in general, there's things we keep privately to ourselves. So this is where strategy falls in the organizational culture theory. It's right in the middle. What people see on top is what they see. And then there's underlying this, driving the top are the strategic goals, the philosophies, the values, the vision and a mission. And way at the bottom is these individual things that nobody sees, but each one of us as an individual carries. One of the most common, I don't know if you've heard of the iceberg cultural model. A lot of organizations like to keep the visible and the invisible kind of there. Keep your assumptions. We don't want your attitude. We don't care about your own individual habits and your own individual values. As an organization, let's just show what's on the outside, right? The visible culture versus the invisible. So if you go to any organization that uses the iceberg cultural model, 10% of the cultural characteristics are visible. So they don't, everything is kind of under, and just what you see on the surface is what everybody abides by. So keep your emotions, keep your whatever. That's actually a cultural model that some organizations use. Break. And I shake break. I don't usually give you breaks. Last time I felt so bad that I didn't. I think you need a break because I didn't put you in the rooms today, but I will after the break start putting you into rooms, okay? So when we come back, I'm going to put you in Zoom rooms. Do you need the break now? I think it's better to do it now. And we come back, we go into Zoom rooms, and we will start looking at your business ideas. And now we're going to start creating the what will that culture, organizational culture look like? So you've already gone deep into what the company is, what the message is, your values within the company. Now we're taking the company one step further to say, what kind of culture is this company going to have? Okay, is that good? Shall we take a 10-minute break? Hello? Okay, 10 minutes. I think you need it. I really think you need it. And the second part, we will just be doing more activities. Okay, yeah, 10 minutes, which means 7:35. It's 8:35 your end because my time is different. So let's say 7:35. That's 33, 35. Yeah. Please don't go, don't disappear. I want you back. Action starts after this.
Professor, can I ask you something?
What is that?
It's Eid.
Aid, I just saw your name actually. Did you just walk in?
No,
Did I
I've been
hear your
speaking
voice
with you
today?
for an hour.
Ah, I'm so sorry. I bored you today. Today was
No, no,
I'm
no.
boring you, but I had to get through this so that I can reach the application. Tell me,
What does Coco mean in your screen?
Coco?
Yeah, behind you, there's your name and then in brackets Coco.
Ah, that's my nickname.
Okay.
That's my
All
nickname. You know, when you live in a country where people like, I think when I came to the UAE was the first time in my life that I felt my name was normal, right?
Yeah.
I had never met anyone with my name, and never in my life. And then when I came to the UAE, everywhere I went, or every class I taught at the university had at least 1 or 2 Khuluds in my class. But in Australia, when people used to call me these weird names like Cloud, Cloud, Loud, and then I thought, you know what, I need to do something about this. But I was very young, and I used to like Coco Chanel. I still do. So, my friends gave me that nickname with my family and all that. So even my family calls me Coco, by the way. But since I've been in the Gulf, I started getting used to it. The first year in Abu Dhabi, I think I was at Abu Dhabi University. If people called me Eid Khalid, Khulud, I never answered. I didn't even answer. I was like, who's he talking to, right? It took me a year.
I relate exactly. When people call me by my first name, I don't even pay attention.
Oh, really? Why? What's your, do you have a nickname also, or do people call you by your surname?
My name is Muhammad Eid, but no one says Muhammad.
Ah, okay. All right. For me, it's just like my nickname, and I've always gone as Coco. And then when I first came to Abu Dhabi, I remember like people are calling me and I'm just walking off. Like it was so embarrassing. It took me a whole year to respond. So, but now I'm used to it. I mean, 23 years later, you would think, right?
Yeah.
But now it's normal. I mean, even here when I'm in Doha, everywhere I go, there is this pharmacy that's called Khulud Pharmacy. There's about 50 of them everywhere I go.
After class, I'll call you Coco then.
Yalla. You can call me whatever you like. I don't care. I like Coco more actually, but it's fine. Yalla, take a break. You don't want a break?
Yeah, I'm chilling. That's what
Yalla,
a break
chill.
is, no?
Chill. How is Muhammad doing? My Muhammad today, the sick Muhammad. How are you doing? He was really sick, to be honest. Is he still? I think he's not there anymore. Abu Nof or something. He is. I'll wait and see. He was really badly sick. He was absent last week, so I want to know because I've reviewed and I'm hoping that it helped him. Anyway, let me just take a little. Hey guys, you still got a few minutes. I'll wait until everybody's back on. This is the problem with the break is I need to make sure that you haven't just disappeared. Last time you didn't get a break, so I felt guilty. But this time we needed it because last time
I
we
think
started
because last time was so enjoyable and practice.
Yeah,
and
and you
Zoom meeting.
you were talking more at the beginning, so we didn't feel it.
Yes.
Right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I was talking more at the beginning. So anyway, that's all good. Now we have practice. So What we are going to, I don't know, I'll give them a couple of minutes. Is everybody back? Yeah. Let me see. Humaid, are you there? Muad, Khalifa, Ghaith, Ali. I did say 35, didn't I?
Yes, doctor.
3 more
You called
minutes.
my name?
Girl, you guys are back? Yeah, I'm just trying to see if everybody's back.
Yeah.
Because
Yes, we're back.
We're back.
Khalid, you there? Khalid, Amir, Rawan.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good.
we're back.
Okay, because we need to go into Zoom room, so I need to make sure everybody's in. Otherwise, I'll struggle to put you later. This time around, the Zoom room activity will be easier because now you're getting used to it. The only thing that's going to happen now, because you know your groups, right? Today, I'm not splitting you randomly. I will create the rooms, okay? But before we go in, I will organize everything so you don't waste time inside. So what we're trying to do is I will create the rooms. I think we had 3 ideas last time. We had only 3 groups going. However, there was one group that didn't get a chance to share. Who was it? Was it your team, Rawan?
No, it
I
was someone
remember
else.
it was someone else.
Mm.
Which group? Because I think we heard the trust fund sharing
I think group 4.
group 4. I only had 3 ideas. I don't know if it was the perfume one. Was it the perfume one?
No, the perfume, we
No.
did the first.
You started. And so then there was the trust fund. I think we heard the trust fund. And
Yes.
it was the health food. It was the health food. So who's doing the health food idea? Anyone in the group today was doing the health food company? Hello? Because I remember time had run out and they hadn't shared. Was it Noura? No? Noura, are you there? Maria?
Which Noura?
I have 2 Nouras.
Yes, Noura Shahi. I was in the room 1. I think we presented
You
the
presented. Okay. There is
Yeah, the perfume.
there is one group that didn't present and I felt bad because we were chatting and then I realized, oh my God, I forgot them. Okay. That's fine. When we come back to share this, you might be able to recap what you did last week. What we're going to do again, remember you were doing your message and your statement. So you're kind of ready now to start thinking of your company's vision, right? Because now you've thought about it a lot more, you can refine it a bit more. So what I want you to go into your groups again and start building a proper company vision. What kind of leadership style do you think you will have? What form of culture? It could be corporate, it could be an organic, like just decide how your culture would look like based on what you've learned today. And then try to define your imaginary company's vision when you are doing the vision of the company. Try to think of remember last time we did values? Think of team values and think of effective leadership and what makes a strong culture. So think about all the things that we have talked about today while you are deciding on 1, 2, and 3, if that makes sense. You may want to take a screenshot of this so that when you go to your Zoom rooms, you can have this as a reference. Okay? Is that fine? Okay, so I'm going to create 3 groups. Group number 1 is that the trust fund.
Room 1 was the perfume, doctor.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
in room 3.
Room one is the perfume. Room 2, trust fund. Okay. I'm only going to have 3 rooms because last time I had 4 and one of them didn't have anybody. Sah? Is there an idea that I don't know about? I think we only have 3 ideas. The perfume, the trust fund, and the health food.
Yes.
Am I right? I'm trying to, because
Yes,
I take
exactly.
notes. Yeah. I remember one of the groups didn't have enough people in it. So I'm going to open 3 rooms. Room number 1 is the perfume. Room number 2 is the trust fund. Room number 3 now is the health food. You put yourself, when I open the room, you assign yourself to where you are. I don't have to sit and remember every single person. However, you can tell me if you can't, and I will add you. It will give you a prompt, and it will say, which room do you want to go to? You can select your room. But give me a second to activate the rooms first. Breakout rooms, I'm going to put 3 rooms, and I'm going to say assign. Let the participants choose the room, okay? I'm going to repeat them. 1 is perfume, 2 is trust fund, 3 is health. You go which number you think you belong. And rooms are open. If you need help, you can ask me, of course. Let's see if people are going. Great. I can see numbers getting less and less. If anyone wants me to help assign you, please let me know. Happy to do that. I don't like to micromanage. Ali, do you need help or you know where you're going?
Doctor, I think I can. I didn't get the invitation for the room.
Me too.
Okay, tell me which one were you in? Where were you?
Group
I'll put you.
1, the perfume.
Okay, is that Ali?
No, it's me, Faisal.
Faisal, group 1. Anyone else in room 1? Okay, I'm trying to find you, Faisal.
A6, Alpha 6.
This is the code. Okay.
Yes.
Faisal, room 1?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else, room 1? That needs my help? Come on, I can do it. It's usually faster when you do it, but I don't know why I don't get the prompt. Give me a name and I'll put you where you need to be, quickly. Anyone?
Rawan, room 2.
Room 2. There you go. Anyone else? Ghaith, Khalifa, Aid, do you want me to put you somewhere? Hibba, where do I put you? Asma, Ali, are you there? Hello? My new guy got himself into the room faster. Aid, where do I put you? Hello? Aid, are you there? Hibba, Asma.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is this?
Ali.
Ali? Ali, where do I put you? Perfume, trust
Room
fund.
1.
Room 1, perfume. Yeah. Anyone else? There's 2 Ali. There's another Ali. Okay. Ali Suwaidi. Is there another Ali?
I'm Ali Swedi, doctor, but
You're
I
Ali
don't know.
Suwaidi. I think I
check.
put
Yes.
someone else in room 1. Sorry. There's 2 Alis. I didn't realize. Today I have more people. Okay. Hamid, are you there? Muad.
For me, doctor, I didn't join last session because
doctor.
I had night shift duty.
Okay. Do you guys want to go into any of these 3? I think my health food one needs a bit of support. Make a choice. What do you want? Perfume, trust fund, or for health food?
Okay, me perfume.
I'll go health food.
Okay, great. I need someone in the health food. Who is that? Hamid?
Ali Swedi.
Ali. Oh, Ali, I already put you in the wrong one.
خلاص. Then I'll stay in the same one if it's.
No, it's okay. I'll change you to the Ali Swedi. Yeah, okay. Do you want me? I'll put you in the health food 3. Anyone else not in a room at all? Humaid, Ghaith, Khalifa, Khulud, and Noura. Are you there? Please let me know if you don't have a room.
And Asma.
Asma, okay. Room number 1 is
Yes,
all
I'm here,
loaded.
Nura.
Okay, tell me, where do you want to go? Health food?
Health food.
Yeah, I remember that. You're the one who didn't get a chance to present. Who else? Asma. Asma, which room? Do you remember your project? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Which one were you in?
Healthy,
Perfect.
healthy. Okay,
Health,
healthy.
excellent. The health food
Okay.
needs people.
Yeah.
Also, the room 2, the trust fund needs people. Eid, where are you? I think you were in the trust fund. It was his idea, actually. I'm gonna assign him. Khulud, Ghaith, Khalifa, Humaid. Hello. Hiba.
Yes, doctor. Sorry, I'm sick.
Oh no, there's 2 people like this. By the way, last time after
I
I
get
finished
sick
teaching you
after
that,
the class, by the
me
way.
too. Oh
Oh
my
my God.
God.
Until now, I'm sick.
But
Horrible
me
situation.
too. Me too. I finished that class, but I couldn't say I gave it to you. We are on Zoom. I
Yeah, after
finished
the
that
class,
class.
immediately, I don't know what's wrong.
Me too. Oh my goodness. This is
Yeah.
spooky. I finished the class. I was on such a high energy.
I
But
think there's virus, very strong virus here in Dubai. I'm not sure
I
because
didn't
everyone
sleep
is
that
sick.
night. I didn't sleep that night
Me
all
too.
night.
I swear I didn't sleep.
I couldn't believe
And
it. And I thought, where did
almost 8 days until now, I'm still in the
me
same
too. Today,
situation.
I started feeling better 2 days ago. I went to work yesterday, and today I copped it again. So anyway,
It's
let me put you in a group. Just at least listen to them. Which project were you
yes.
in? Which
Actually,
one?
good. I'm healthy food,
Pasta?
but I think nobody there. So let me put.
No, they're actually in the health food. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
Okay, healthy food then.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
the trust fund has become smaller. I don't even know why. It was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Just listen to them. Hamid, Ghaith, Khalifa. Ali, did you come out? I don't know why Eid is having problems joining these groups. Same thing last time.
Doctor, nobody talk in that room, so better to put me in perfume.
Eba, are you serious? All these people are not.
It's silent. They are silent.
You're kidding me. Tab, okay,
I
wait, you want me?
swear. So put me in
Who is
perfume.
that?
I mean,
Hiba? Is it Hiba?
yeah.
Tab,
Yeah.
do you want to go to the trust fund?
Yeah, yeah, anywhere. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll put you in the trust fund because they're short on people. Are you kidding me? They're not talking. I'm
I
gonna go
swear
in.
they are silent. I don't know. Maybe they
I
don't have
will.
idea about the project. That's why they are silent.
Okay, hang on. I will go in and help them, but let me find you first. Where are you now? Did you come out?
Yeah.
Okay, but I can't find you out. Oh, you're not showing for me.
Oh.
I don't. There you are. You're still in there. You just
I'm
didn't join.
sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you in room 2.
Okay, please. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go to room 3 and
Teacher,
see
me and room 1 for healthy food, right?
who is that.
Asma.
But you're out now. So
No, not
room 1
out.
is not healthy food. Room 1 is
No,
perfume.
no, me and healthy food, not perfume.
Asma, where are you now?
Yes, you put it me where?
I'm trying to find you so I know where I put you. You're not showing. Asma.
Yes.
There. I had you in healthy food, room number 3.
Okay. Okay, now room number
Does
3.
it tell you
Okay.
to join?
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, yalla,
Healthy
yalla.
food, okay.
Perfect, Lano. No one's talking. I'm gonna go in and see why.
Yeah.
Yalla.
Sorry, because in
Go in. I'm
hospital
gonna
with
go.
my child.
It's okay, but in that group, there's a lot of people, but someone said nobody's talking. So I'm gonna go in and see what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Mina, room number 3, healthy food, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Is everybody back in?
Yes.
Yeah, Doctor.
I'm like, I didn't even hear a sound. Okay, yalla. Sorry, my bad. There was no sound whatsoever, and I'm thinking they should be out. Okay, let's share. You may not have finished room, but I want to start with room 3 because we still haven't heard much about their idea, and now it's a solid, good, like a strong team. So let's hear from you. And my apologies for last time. I've never really done that before. So let's hear from your idea of the health food, and the idea has evolved a lot, which is great. So let's see what you guys have. Can I just quickly tell those that are new, all these visionary companies, or if anyone is not going into the Zoom rooms for whatever reason, I should have asked Eid what's happening with him. I think because when he's driving, he can't get into the Zoom rooms. If anyone has missed out on a Zoom room before, in the first session, let me just guide you through what we're doing. Every time we're learning something, we are applying it to a company. But instead of thinking about your company where you work, because everybody works in a different company, I put you together and you created your own idea of a company. Okay. And so last time we started with shared values, your own values, and the message. And from that, you chose what your business idea will be. Okay. So that's the first step we did. We came up with 3 ideas. One was about a trust fund. And the second one was perfume. Sorry, the first one was perfume. The second one was about the trust fund. And the third one was the healthy food. Okay. So the next step we did in the Zoom room was create the SWOT analysis, right? We tried to think of our idea and our company. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? If you remember when I started today and I did the revision, I showed you how we build a strategy, right? We start with these tools and we put them all into the SWOT. From the SWOT, what we find out from the SWOT, we get an idea of what kind of product we want to create. You started with a business idea, but right now, after the SWOT, you should be more familiar with the kind of specific product that you are going to be working on. If it's an existing company, you will create a product. If it doesn't exist, you will start the business from scratch. The step today is to look at the culture of this imaginary company, okay? So since we didn't hear the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats from group,
Please remember what she said.
can you guys share them again and then tell us about your leadership and your corporate culture? Is that okay? Just to give us to the new people so they know there are new people in all. Yeah, you can start. Who's going to speak for the health food?
Wallah,
He said
I
you
think
want to.
I think each one of us can take a part.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that the newbies are ready to jump in. You know, because
because
last time Noura was left alone. I felt so sorry for her.
yeah, I joined a bit late.
Okay.
My bad.
Yalla, guys, share.
1 second. I'm just trying to.
It's okay. Take your time, guys. I already know because I went into the room and I asked, but I think everybody needs to hear. We learn from each other's projects, by the way. Do you need a break? Do you want me to start with another group?
No, the whole concept.
Do you want us to
Yes, I want you to share.
to
Start
share
from
our
the beginning.
vision?
Yes. First of all, what is your vision? Yes.
Our vision is to enhance a community well-being by providing accessible and high-quality healthcare solutions that promote a healthier and more sustainable future.
I like this. I really like this. Remember what you started your message with? What was the message? Can you say it to us?
Good food creates a good mood.
Okay, see where the message was related directly to food. What has the vision done? And by the way, the vision is never an action, but still it's very good. We will fix it later. You're saying to create, right? You started with to create?
Yes, to
Yeah.
enhance.
Or to enhance. It cannot be an action, that's your mission. But does anybody notice how it went from good food creates good mood to an actual statement that was more of a visionary statement? What makes it a visionary statement, do you think? Any keywords? Can you say it again? I love something that you did as a group, of course, that has taken the message to a completely different level of a vision. Say it, read it out again.
To enhance community well-being by providing accessible and high-quality healthcare solutions that
Thank you.
promote a
Stop
healthier.
right there.
Okay.
Stop right there. Healthcare solutions. See, the word food is not the focus of the vision, right? I love it. But
Yes.
do you guys understand why I love how it went from a food thing and now it's really a vision? It's gone to a level where, remember what I said about the vision? The vision is a big thing. Your vision doesn't change every day. So what if I want to focus on well-being? Food is one aspect of well-being, right? I need to, my vision has to stay, and I will now over time create products that will enhance well-being, that are accessible, that will help people live and their quality food, quality products, solutions, health solutions. It could be food, it could be drinks, it could be exercise routines, it could anything. I think this is the best example of what I wanted out of this activity today. The only the only criticism I have is it's a vision. Remember, a vision is where you want to be, and a mission is what you want to do and how you want to be there. It's the next step in our explanation today. So keep that in mind. Put a circle around to enhance. We don't want to be using to plus a verb. We want to say to be, or so you want to be. In a vision statement, you will be in the future, right? In the mission statement is what you do. You know where you said by? Now you can continue. How do you want to achieve this? By? Was it Noura?
Yes.
Yeah. By, you continued. You have a sentence by doing something, I think. There was
That promote a healthier and more sustainable future.
Perfect. That's your mission now. The by action is the mission, right? To what you want to be is your vision. How you want to do it is your mission. Perfect. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. It will come back again. I will show you examples. Thank you very much. And now let's hear about your leadership. Isa, do you want to take turn on this?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Noura.
When it comes to the company's culture, since what we want to get into is organic, healthy eating, clean, so the company's corporate culture is built around sustainability, integrity, and transparency. Transparency mainly with our customers, because a lot, if we look at the competition today, everyone claims that they're organic or healthy, but you don't really know.
So true.
There's-
So true.
Yeah, there's so many of them out there. So the culture is built around it. It basically guides how people work, how leaders lead, how decisions are made. Leaders play a key role by leading with trust, leading with empathy, purpose, encouraging a culture of teamwork, open communication, and also personal growth and employee health.
Yes,
So
because
they live the value.
promoting, absolutely. You have to live your vision and your mission. Your mission
Yeah.
is to promote it to the people, to the world outside. So you need to be demonstrating it inside. Transparency. That's it.
And
I
in
love
a business like this, the decisions are made around long-term impact. Because health is not a short-term thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to say something to the rest of you because we didn't hear last time the strength were weaknesses and opportunity and threats that was identified by this group. Okay, even what Risa's saying now is a result of some of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that they had identified. One of the things they identified was a weakness or a threat was the competition. And what's
Yeah.
that already out there, there's a lot of people doing that. So you can see how they built their culture and their mission and their vision and everything they want to be and do by actually trying to fill that gap, fill that threat. So do you see how the threat and the opportunities actually shape your company? They give you an idea of what your company and how you distinguish yourself from others. It's not always a negative thing. It really,
Yes.
if you do your SWOT properly, you can build a much better product or business. And knowing what your threat is forces you. What is innovation, guys? Innovation is actually finding an opportunity to fill the gap of a challenge, right? It forces you to be creative and innovative. You're not just creating something out of space, out of air. You need to have something to work with. That's what the SWOT does. Thank you so much, Isa. Let's move on to your leadership. I think you've blended the corporate culture and the leadership very nicely together. Is there
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
Is there
No,
anything?
basically, maybe one thing I'll add that the
Go
company
ahead.
basically connects its purpose with its performance,
Perfect.
basically.
Can you
Yeah.
explain to us what exactly you meant by that, just for anyone who is not familiar with?
Because the company, because yes, the purpose is providing healthy, clean, organic food, but even how we perform has to be based around these concepts, even
Okay, of
internally.
course.
Yeah. So
Okay.
whatever we do at every stage of our operations, what we provide, and I think I just want to go back to the opportunities. I think one thing most companies compete on today, far more than price and product, because if we look at certain industries, they more or less have the same things, packaged differently and whatnot. So, but a lot of companies today focus more on the customer journey and customer experience
Of course.
and customer touch points. And I think that's where you can really
Absolutely.
make a difference.
Absolutely. Technology and data
Yeah.
analytics. Find out your customer journey. Absolutely. When I do customer service training, we spend most of the time trying to talk about customer experience because today, like you said, everybody can do the same thing. It's the experience that matters, it's the touch points. Brilliant key buzzwords that you're using there, Isa. I'm sold. I'm sold. Thank you so much, guys. This is a great, I'm so happy that,
Thanks.
Noura, you're happy? And thank you to the rest of the team, of course.
Yes, of course.
I'm glad also that the idea has kind of taken a step forward because I felt bad that everyone was moving really quickly and you guys were lagging behind. So thank you for those who came on board. And this is going to happen. And I'm telling you from teaching these courses, there's always someone that ends up being alone at some point when people have other things to do, they don't turn up. So always be ready when we come back. These are the 3 ideas. That's why we share. We share so that everybody knows what's happening in every project. And then when we are short on people, I push you to the other one. And actually by going to a different idea, it also challenges you to think differently, right? So thank you so much. Can we listen to the others, even though I'm kind of pressed for time? Can we get a brief focus on what you guys have come up with? Whoever's ready to go.
We
The
can
person-
start.
Yeah,
Yes,
please go.
group number 1. Our previous vision, we just rephrase it a bit. I don't want to take too much time.
Alright.
To be a global leader in perfumes through our unique ingredients.
Okay.
After putting and choosing the leadership style, we choose the transformational leadership style so that we will transform the company from one state to another. It has this style will be inclusive, innovative, visionary, adaptive or agile, plus it should have the humility, yani people oriented. Okay.
Okay, people
Adding,
oriented. Nice.
yes,
Nice.
adding to this, we should have the culture of the excellence and the quality, innovation, creativity, transparency, passion, customer centric. This is the first in our list, and
It
diversity.
adds on to what Isa was saying. When it's customer centric, it's an experience again. And and you know, I like when you started, you talked in your vision statement, you mentioned unique ingredients, but you could probably also add
Ma,
an
we
experience.
rephrase it. Yeah,
You-
we
yeah.
rephrase it. After we
Yeah.
put the leadership style criteria or what he should
Yeah.
have along with the culture, and after revising our vision, we came up to another more enhanced vision, a world-class fragrance organization that blend creativity and passion to deliver unique, memorable scent.
See, but thank you so much for telling me this, because I was watching thinking, oh, I can change this again, and perfectly, that's what you did. By listening to the culture you want, the leadership style you want, do you see how a vision could be without, again, just the way the SWOT improved the business idea,
Yes.
talking about your culture and your leadership style is also going to reshape the vision. Brilliant. Thank you for saying this, because I was the first
Thank
thing I was thinking when I'm listening to you is, oh, I want to go back and add a few things to this vision statement.
Yes.
Naturally. And you really did a fantastic job, all of you, rephrasing it. It's
Yeah, that's on my behalf of my team.
it captured, yes, of course, the team. It captured everything you mentioned you wanted to represent, because the vision statement is what drives your people. If your vision statement does not articulate and clearly, and also needs to be compelling and catchy, if it doesn't capture, you know what Isa was saying, we want our purpose to align with our performance. This is kind of very similar. There's this alignment in everything. And when we move next step, also when we continue doing things, you will see you will always be going back. Nothing in building a strategy is linear. I show you the diagram that goes in lines, top, bottom, 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 but nothing in reality is linear, okay? It's always a circle that's repeated. Unfortunately, our diagrams sometimes force us. So there's always a monitoring review, go back, repeat, and we always revisit and improve, so that by the time you pass it on and you cascade it, it's really been very well thought out. People don't put strategy overnight. It's a process. And again, sometimes after you implement, you can even review. But if you've done your due diligence, it will all align from top to bottom. Thank you so much for this. Nicely put. Can we get the third group? I'm getting more and more excited. This is the exciting part of the session, as you can see.
I just wanted to ask. I just
Please.
wanted to ask, because you said we strategy we can change. When can we also change vision?
Vision usually is long term, okay, which is why when we did the first one, when we did the first group, you know how they were focusing on food, and in my mind I thought, okay, your product started, we were focused on healthy food, right? And then suddenly when they created the vision, I couldn't believe how it went from a very tangible thing in my hand that any day I might need to change it, any day that business can fall apart, and it's so limited. It's a product. You don't start with a product usually, right? You start with a vision and then you think of a product. But they had to start with something. when will you change it? If your vision is broad enough and futuristic enough, and remember what I said about setting strategic direction, right? We said not everybody can do this. This person really needs to be a visionary. This person needs to have what it takes to see where things are going in the future. But it means that this person needs to be aware and familiar with everything that's going on around them to be able to see those that future, almost futuristic. But there are people in this world who are brilliant at it. Okay, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but these are unique people, right? Not everybody is a CEO, as you know. Every one of us can be a manager, every one of us can lead, but maybe being the CEO of a huge company takes a lot more. When can
So
you?
that's why people start companies fail, because their vision is not clear enough.
Absolutely. There's a lot of other factors, but I personally think startup failure, I don't see it as failure. I'm very curious about startup failures. I like to see what are the things that make people fail. But startups usually do fail when people rush into, not because of the vision, it's because of not knowing really what is your long term and then how to take that long term vision and make it, again, it's both ways, right? If I know what the product is and I can't build a vision, you are in trouble. If I have a good vision and I can't make it happen, remember this vision without action and action without vision. I think startups fail because, again, we encourage innovation is encouraged to fail. We have to fail. If you're not failing, you're not innovating. But we want to fail early. So we want to start doing and learning. If I just lecture you today and I don't allow you to go, even though it's such a small process of business ideation, by the way, that I do in this course, it's nothing. It's literally the touching the surface. It still gives you an opportunity to imagine that it's real and it's happening. Now I'm there. I need to think about it. I need to do it. I went into one of the Zoom rooms. People were writing on the wall, on the whiteboard. See, you're doing, even though it's planning, you're not sitting there thinking, you're literally doing. So one of the big things with startups is you have to do, and you have to do cheap, and you have to fail early, right? Failure is not the issue, Khalid. Is it Khalid? It was Khalid who asked, صح?
Yes, correct.
Khalid, yeah. It's a very good question you ask, because most of us who train in innovation entrepreneurship, in fact, there's a new trend now in innovation entrepreneurship called startup failures. There is an interest today, huge interest in startup failures. It's like the buzz. It's no more innovation and startup success. People are so interested in startup failures because failures can really, learning about failure can actually help us avoid failure. And failures can be of different reasons. So your question was about when do we change vision? Companies can change vision if the vision is too specific and the world has changed a lot. But generally, you want your vision to be very broad. That's why we say try to keep it broad so you don't have to constantly change it. You may be able to change your strategy, but you don't have to change your vision. I haven't seen many companies change their vision unless they completely rebrand. They get sold out, they close down, they rebrand themselves completely. Very few successful companies actually change their vision. But maybe a startup would do that because you would change the whole business, and you can because you're still small. You're still really
because when I think about it, it just gives a big pressure on the startup. All right, we need to do it correct because it's not easy to change, or we should not change it. So we need to have a vision that we work on it.
A startup can, because a startup, but a startup can, of course, because you start and sometimes you don't know where you're going. But this is where the problem is with a proper startup will actually engage you in your vision and everything that we are doing today in a quick process. You know what we do? It's like called a design sprint. What we're doing is we're taking you through the process very quickly to see if what you are thinking of actually aligns. And if it's not, you go back and you change it all from the beginning. So for example, if today you went into this exercise, I'm imagining you are now a startup, you're not. We're just in the course, we're pressed for time, we're doing things quickly. If you went to this exercise today and you realized after the SWOT, I was expecting people to kind of change what they wanted to focus on, you could have. When you do strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, I may have come up with a completely different product than perfume, or I may have refined the perfume. I may have found that, oh, there's another opportunity that's even better than from my SWOT, right? So this is what startups do. We take them through a quick process of testing their idea, really quick. And it fails, you can either go back and change everything from scratch. Startups don't usually do a proper strategic direction. That's a big organization does that. So we are using the startup model just for practice. But in general, there are a lot of things that we are doing in these activities that don't really apply to very small companies or startups. But I think it's exciting to get you to experience a small process of a startup, plus what can organizations do. Your assignment is about an organization. So in your assignment, you can go back and talk about your own company and elaborate more. You can choose one of these startups. But the reason I create this is two things, because we do it quickly and startups are quicker. And the second thing is just to give you a taster of practice rather than just me coming to tell you do all this. And also, you are 5-6 people. Everybody's going to talk about their own company. Other people don't understand your company, if that makes sense. So it gives you the ownership of your own company, which a lot of, by the way, some of my students who come to this course already have their own businesses, right? And sometimes they choose that business and they work on it with the group. And when the business already exists, it's a small business. I've had a few who have their own fast food, burger places, someone who already had their own consulting in aviation. So every time I have a group, if they have their own small business, we bring it in, by the way, and we work on it. We improve it. They leave the training and they've already gotten feedback from me, from everybody else. They've improved their own strategy. Small businesses are easy to turn around. So I don't know if I've answered your question, Khalid, but it's a very good question. That yes, in general, I don't say we don't change it at all, but it needs to be long term. It can't just quickly change. Your mission statement can, because that's why I loved what Isa and Noura did and their group, the team, what they did with the healthy food. They expanded their vision so that if one day their mission, I don't want to focus on food anymore. Maybe there's an opportunity for me to expand and have more than one thing that's healthy in one place. Someone did say in their group, oh, these places should be next to a gym. Maybe I would want to have my own gym, right? Maybe I want a yoga studio with organic and healthy food. Just thinking. So do you see why the vision needs to be, not that it doesn't change at all, but it needs to be very higher level and very futuristic and not specific, so that it allows my company to grow. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, thank you. It's
Thank you.
helpful.
Thanks. I like questions, guys. Whatever goes on in your head, ask. For me, going through my slide and going through the motions is not learning. Just you guys doing this exercise alone is such a great learning experience. We have one more group. I think it was the perfume. I would like to hear from you. Oh no, this was the perfume. The trust fund.
Yes, our group, we really talk about the vision. Actually, what we did, the three of us tried an example, and then we tried to merge in one sentence. So we came up with, on Harry, with this sentence, to be the most trusted investment company in creating sustainable financial growth and community well-being.
Hello. I like how most of you are adding this community business into your vision. And again, this answers one of the questions you were saying. You left yourself very open. your vision is so open that you can go into community, you can go into investment, you can go into sustainability. See, it doesn't limit your scope at all, but you know where your field is, right? Finance, and that's it. But it's a huge scope. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think like our target or our business that we wanted to aim was trust fund, but we want to also to make it reflecting that we help people to grow financially and also help to build the community in general.
Excellent, excellent. And that is where I think your edge and your advantage will be, because you need to be different. It's like how the perfume thing became memorable, experience, unique. So they brought all these other things and added it and gave that simple message that you had on day one has turned into a powerful vision. I don't even want to tell you, you guys listening to each other, do you feel how your thinking from one session to another has gone way beyond what you did the first day? And wait till you get to the end. And it always fascinates me how much people can deliver in under pressure and given the right tools and the right opportunity. So anyway, what was your culture? What kind of culture are you looking at?
And leadership style, we leave servant leadership and transformational leadership blend together will help us because we wanted to be transparent with our customers on their investment, on how we do the investment, the business for them. So, and avoid being cloudy or
Absolutely. This
vague.
is money. Money. It's so important. And I love how a lot of you are using this word transparency. You mentioned it as when we talked about values, but you have brought it into your culture today. And I think by just merely mentioning transparency to me in the structure that you are building, I can see the transformation that young people today are bringing into this business world, right? Because in the old days, these things were never transparent. And look at you all being so focused on transparency. Talks about organic. He says we need to be transparent. Talks about people's money and their investments. Oh, that's even more, right?
Yeah.
So I love how these themes are so consistent with all of your ideas. It's very promising. It warms my heart, actually, where sustainability comes in, transparency comes in. It just shows you how much you as a culture also, as a nation, the whole part of this world, this part of the world, how much things have changed and your thinking has changed. It's very impressive. Okay, sorry, carry on. Here's me ranting.
So yeah, like this is what we adopt the servant and transformational leadership and the culture that we wanna in our company transfer with focus on the people benefits that we deal with and work with.
I like the choice of the servant leadership and because you kind of bring the community and all that, but how do you think you would translate that into the actual culture, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so servant leadership means that you're not bureaucratic or not from top down. You are with the team and with the client, so you can communicate openly and you are willing also to help, not just to instruct
Help,
and
help.
give them.
Because your key word is help, right? With your vision, there is help. You want to help. So yes, I could see the alignment. I just wanted to ask you to see if you guys
Yeah.
have thought about it. Thank you so much. This is fantastic, guys. I'm gonna have to go quickly through these slides, but they're interesting and we will apply them. I don't think we'll have time to apply them today. Next time when we come back, we will apply this. So we've talked about leadership and strategic direction setting. There are 3 tools we use when we do strategic direction setting and when we try to plan our leadership, okay? Think of the future, which you have done today. Yeah, you have to envision the future. So vision is timeless. Did you see what, that was your question, Khalid. Vision is timeless. The vision has no time limit. It is based on who or what you want to do. It's based on who and what you want to do, but it's really where you want to be. Okay, based on what you want to do, but it's who you want to be. It's why your organization exists. So it's like your why, your purpose. When Isa was talking about purpose, that was your vision, right? Your purpose. It's why you exist. Why do you think you should be here, right? What problem are you solving? That's your vision in a way, or bigger issue, a purpose in life. And it is specific enough, right, that everyone can use it to make a decision, but it cannot be too specific that it limits your productivity. So it just has to be specific enough. People need to know what industry you're in, at least, right? Your people in the company, you keep it broad, but it has to be clear so they know what they're focusing on. If we go back to the first, all the visions that I heard today, all three of them are specific. I can tell where you want to go. I can tell what the focus of the business is, but it's not specific to limit the scope of my work and my products in the future, which is what a vision should be. Because you really need to, and it needs to be measurable. So if you have keywords with actions in them, like to be this, to provide something to the community, to help, all these words, right, will help you to measure. So this is where when you translate your vision into a mission, then it becomes measurable because you start putting actions into it. And you can measure actions, right? So the first tool of leadership for strategic direction is being able to envision the future. The second tool is strategy. And look at this diagram. I don't even need to say anything, right? You've already done this with your own imaginary stuff. So it's where you are now, right? So you think of where you want to be in the future, right? This is strategy. You already have your vision statement, so you know where you want to be in the future, right? And then you trace your steps all the way back. So you start with the end. That's how strategy is done. What is my end? Today you defined your vision, right? So when we move into strategy, we are now going to take you next time from your vision that you assigned, start retracing your steps to where you are today. And all the steps in between is your strategy. Does that make sense? I think the picture says it all. Start with the end, start with your imagination, and start working backwards to where you are today. And everything in between is your strategy. You go step by step towards your vision. You ask yourself, how am I going to get there? That's your strategy. That's your second tool. Your third tool is what we call tactics, right? So your tactics, the strategy is a much higher level, okay? Your tactics are actually those little moves that you will make while you are in the process of dealing with your strategy. For example, and my favorite example is always soccer, football, right? I don't know if anyone, it may not be football. I don't know, whatever sports you guys play, or if you play chess or whatever it is. There are strategies that people use. You go into the football field or the basketball field or whatever with a plan, right? There's a strategy. When they tell you that today the team is going to play 4-4-2, 4-3-4, whatever. I think the girls, please, if you're not into football, you're gonna get lost with me. But forgive me. But I always think soccer and football is, so the coach starts with a strategy of how, whether he's going to play defense, he's going to focus on defending. I'm going to put it in simple words. Whether he's going to focus on defending so nobody scores, or are they coming in and putting most of their players at the front so they can score? They're going to attack. This is a strategy. They come onto the playground and the game starts. And you realize that your opponent has decided to put 3 people on that one person that you are relying on to score the goal. So now this person, he's not going to go back to the coach. So coach, what am I going to do on the field? He's going to try to maneuver, try to find a way to avoid those 3 people. Or maybe the others will not give him the ball at a certain time as they had planned before. They will still do the strategy, but they will change what we call the tactics, the small moves during the process. That's a tactic. If you're a salesperson, I'm going to give you a different example in case you're not into sports. So those of you who play football, does it make sense what the difference between a strategy and the tactic is? Yeah, the strategy has its own plan, but then when you get into the action, you might need to change something slightly. I plan my lesson today. I come in and my Zoom room, for example, remember last time we had a bit of an issue with it? We changed the way we do things. I tried not to put you too much in the Zoom room today at the beginning. I asked you questions, you were answering them. That's a tactic. It didn't change my strategy. It didn't change the main goals that I wanted. It didn't change the fact that I wanted to hear from you, your answers from you, not from me. Even though we were not in a Zoom room, I was still getting answers from you. I only changed the tactic. I didn't change the strategy of how I teach or how I
Doctor,
train. Yes.
Doctor, sorry to interfere. Yani, what we can conclude that these tactics depend on the actual situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are limited in scope. They are not broad. Yeah. And they apply to just a small part of the company. For example, let's say you have a whole strategy for the entire organization of how you're going to promote a product and how you're going to go about it. And then the marketing team, for example, they go and or the salesperson, he goes out there and one of your very, very popular or a huge client, a repeat client, a loyal client, wants this product from you, but your strategy is they pay upfront. And then you say, okay, how about you pay every month a small amount? This is a tactic. I'm still going with my strategy. I'm still going to target the same client. The strategy was meant to keep the loyal clients. I'll stay with them. I'll apply everything. But how I get my money from them and how I deliver the product to them might change a little bit for each person, like you said, situational. That's a tactic. Sometimes tactics, you cannot predict them even. They come in the moment, in the situation, like you said. And it may only apply to one department, one type of work. It may not apply to all the others. It's limited in the scope, right? It's shorter term than a strategy. Strategy can be a long-term process. And while we are implementing the strategy, we might need to do something as a tactic in the short term, if that makes sense. And it involves executing. You have to use your own existing capabilities, your own resources. So I might have a strategy, and then when I come to use what I have, I might find that, ooh, I need to go back and use someone. I don't have this. Maybe I'll go to the other department and use whatever we have. This is what we have. This is what we need to do. Small changes within the strategy. These are tactics, and you should be able to do them. So it's different from strategy, right? It's work within the current organization structure. You don't change that. You don't change the whole organization. Strategy will change the organizational structure, but tactics doesn't. Everybody will still be in their position. It will just make a slight change to the way you do something. So these are really the three tools of leadership strategic direction setting. These are the strategies that leaders need to use in order to implement their leadership skills. We still got 10 minutes, actually. How about we do that? You go into a Zoom room and you do this. You go back into the same rooms and that same building. Envisage the future of your company. Imagine what the future will be. We're going to do the vision, work backwards to the strategy is not going to be a major strategy, just a few points, 1 or 2 strategic points, and then try to add some tactics for each. Make sense? 2 strategies, 2 ideas for your strategy, and 1 tactic for each one of them. Is that clear? We've got 10 minutes. How do we feel about this? I think it would be nice if you apply something else for me today.
Yes, sure,
Yeah?
doctor.
يلا. Let's not waste time. I put you straight in the groups.
ممكن إلكترونية
Sorry? Take a
بعطيك
screenshot of
إياه
this,
7
guys.
8 4 1900 أنا وسام
That's
5 3 5 3 9 8 4 5 4 5
okay, guys. Can I open the rooms?
سوري ايه قديم
Sorry, guys. Can I just put you in the rooms now? Because there's a conversation going on.
تمام ممكن صرت السيارة وإجي
Amir, can you please just put yourself on mute?
I'm not mute.
I muted you. خلاص يلا.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I actually thought you were talking to someone in my room. Yalla, go. Oh, I can't believe this. Wow. حبيت.
You are mute, doctor.
Thank you, Khalid. It's great to see everybody back. By the way, I can't believe I have to give you guys a big hand. I was way behind, which is why I started with a lot of content. Some of it was from last time that I didn't do. And so hopefully next time we can start with the activities also, because I seem to lose a few people after the first hour and a half. I would like them to also engage. So it's all good. Let's hear what you have, and then that's it for this. I think I've caught up with being behind. I always like that feeling. So I changed my tactic a little bit today. Did you notice? Change the tactic to achieve the same goal. This is a perfect example, I mean, for me. Anyway, let's hear your
Yes, we do. We change it.
Yeah, because I was behind last time. I had a lot of things,
Yeah.
and I just changed the way I did things so that I can catch up. So nothing's changed. The strategy is still the same. I just changed the tactic. So let's
Yeah.
hear your vision of the future. You already have a vision anyway. So can you just say what give me a strategy that you have selected and whatever tactics you have connected with that strategy. We'll take one from each group.
I can
Go ahead,
start.
please.
So we didn't have really enough time, but in short, we came
Yeah.
something small, like our future company. We imagine that it will be a regional growth within GCC, not only in the local market, with international expertise.
Okay, great. And this
Uh,
is
This is
the
our future company that we look for.
Which one? Which one are we talking about? Because I can't see who's talking.
The trust fund.
Trust fund.
Trust fund. Yeah, I guessed it was the trust fund anyway. I don't know why I just guessed it, but I can't see. Usually it gives green when you talk, but it didn't. Okay.
Yes, and our strategy will be to build a strong success locally, then we copy it to other markets.
Yeah. Remember, guys, the strategic plan, you can have more than a specific strategy, right? You design a strategy and then you can start having tactics in it. Okay, so one of the strategies is to focus on the local. What did you say?
Yes, to focus on the success in the local market first, and then copy it to other markets.
Okay, here this strategy is very broad, right? So in order to get to the level of a tactic, you might need to narrow it a little bit down. But what kind of tactic did you connect to focusing on the local, a strong local
We
market?
did not manage to
didn't.
discuss tactics,
That's all
but I
right.
can
That's
add
all right.
something. I can add something from myself, like maybe to have a good reference stories, success stories that we can use to promote our company in the local market.
Absolutely. Different ways to actually you have a tactic that will help you achieve the strategy, right?
Yeah.
A smaller step into the strategy. Excellent. Anyone else has at least one strategy with a tactic that aligns with it? We will get a
Yes,
chance to- yeah,
group
go on.
number 1 on behalf of my team, if you allow me.
Perfume, yes.
The future of our company, as we said from the previous session, that the AI. So we will be innovative leader, okay, using AI or be driven by AI for the scent, the ingredients, how to formulate.
Yeah.
Our design for the strategy is, because our vision is a world class, so we need to benchmark with the others. So our strategy is the market expansion so that we can reach.
Okay, but if you remember, guys, the strategy picture that I showed you, you put
Yes,
yourself
the
on the
small.
line where you want to be, and then you start working backwards, step by step backwards. So notice the strategy has several steps, not only one. I only wanted one of them today because of time, but we will.
This one of them.
Yeah. So this is
we
one
have
of them,
before, yeah, that's one of them.
Which
The
is?
tactics for it is the marketing and the branding plus customer engagement, so that we can reach over
So
there.
marketing and branding and customer engagement to reach the first step.
Yes, our ultimate yani, vision.
Okay, but by doing the marketing and the strategy, you will achieve one thing, which is what?
Yes, only one. It's
Which is?
the differentiation by focusing on unique perfume.
Excellent. So you wanted to start differentiating yourself. Your first step is through marketing and branding. Okay,
Yes.
now marketing and branding is really more of a strategy.
Oh, okay.
What would be your tactic? Because marketing is part of a strategy. You will have a marketing strategy, you will have. So what will be a tactic is really smaller.
Our customer engagement, our tactic.
The type of customer engagement that you will use will be a tactic. Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we hear one more? The last one, save the best for last. I'm just kidding. It'd be nice to wrap up with everybody having a say. What's the third one that we haven't had? The health food, I think, kind of got disappeared again towards the end. I don't know why. I hope they didn't leave Noura alone. Was there anyone in room 3? No? Okay. Never mind. At least their project has evolved to the same level as all the others. So basically, takeaway from the second module today, we connect organizational culture and how to set a strategic direction. They are very well connected because they're connected by the vision, obviously. Corporate structure, culture, how leaders promote effective strategic management, and the role of leadership. Skills, which are these 3 tools that we talked about in strategic direction setting. You have 3 tools to envisage the future: strategy and tactics. And that's it for me. Bravo. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. I have someone who is sick, but I don't know. Wallah, did you last? I think Muhammad, you're still there. Thank you, everyone. I hope you are feeling more confident.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Are you feeling more confident?
Of course, doctor.
Yeah, and when you go to the Zoom room and you're doing these things under pressure, you're feeling a bit more confident. I think you're coming back with a lot more ideas, even in the short time. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The second and third sessions, there will be a lot more depth of strategy. You will be applying a lot more. You will see your ideas grow. You know, this business idea will grow very, very quickly. So thank you so much. But try to go back to what we have done, review, and look at the assignment questions, because I think you can start doing some parts of the assignment now. The first part can be done after this session. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, doctor.
Have a great night, everyone, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you,
شكرا دكتور
doctor.
وشكرا
You too. Thank you,
للجميع.
doctor.
Everybody, have a great night.
You too. It's
ومثل
شكرا
العادة, I'm
للجميع.
very happy with your efforts, really. It's I'm so proud of everything you guys are doing.
We're happy because you are our doctor.
صح طبعا.
Pleasure.
Exactly.
Take care.
Thank you
Inshallah,
all.
you will
Thank you,
benefit
teacher.
from it.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
باي
Bye.
دكتور شكرا.
Bye.
Bye-bye.